poco más hoy porque esta información tiene como más de 5 meses, pero tenemos un poco más. Los últimos meses tenemos hecho muchas cosas, muchos webinars y todos los webinars ahora de AB Clean van a estar una parte en la Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, una parte archivada a quien lo quiere ver va a estar ahí. Y hablando de ingeniería clínica en Brasil, la Asociación Brasileña de Ingeniería Clínica tiene una propia definición, que el ingeniero clínico es el profesional que se aplica las técnicas de la ingeniería y la gestión de los equipos médicos con objetivo de garantizar la transmisibilidad, usabilidad, calidad, eficacia, efectividad, seguridad y rendimiento de esos equipos, con la finalidad de promover la seguridad a los pacientes. La parte de ingeniería clínica en Brasil lo hace como todo de la gestión, ¿no? Todo el ciclo de vida, desde el principio hasta el abate del nuevo equipo. Entonces, la primera conferencia de ingeniería clínica fue hace más de 39 años, en 1985, con el principio con el profesor Khalil, el profesor Vincent Wang, pero sí inició en Brasil en 1987 en la Universidad de Campinas con el profesor Vincent Wang. La parte de especialización en ingeniería clínica en Brasil empezó en 93 y 95 con un proyecto del Ministerio de la Salud con una formación de casi 2000 horas, ¿sí? Parte de esas horas, 620 horas eran teóricas y 1300 horas prácticas. Hoy hablamos mucho de la residencia de ingeniería clínica en los países. Esto es como fuera una residencia. Empezó así. Empezó como la parte teórica y después tenemos que quedar en el hospital para poder ver todo. Son 1300 horas de la parte práctica, de gestión. Y estos cursos empezaron en 4 universidades, dos en São Paulo, que fue en la Unicamp, la Universidad de Campinas, Universidad de São Paulo, João Pessoa, es nordeste del Brasil, y el sur de Brasil, en Porto Alegre, en la Federal del Rio Grande do Sul. Y en principio para ingenieros electrotécnicos que se querían trabajar en hospitales, ¿vale? Ya teníamos el curso de ingeniería biomédica en Brasil, pero no tenía impacto como hay hoy. Pero empezamos con los ingenieros electrotécnicos para hacer las especializaciones, pero el Ministerio de la Salud. Entonces, tenemos muchos puntos importantes para hablar de ingeniería clínica en Brasil. El principio que se llama la creación de la Anvisa. La Anvisa es la agencia de vigilancia sanitaria que ha creado en 1999, la fundación de Abeclin en 2003. El primer congreso de ingeniería clínica en Brasil fue en 2005. Ahí ya teníamos algunos cursos en 2009, 2008 de ingeniería clínica, cursos de especialización. Hoy los cursos de especialización en ingeniería clínica están como 600 horas, no como antes. Mira, tenemos una reducción de más de casi 1400 horas de formación. Entonces, la propuesta inicial era armonizar todos los cursos y poder hacer una cosa mejor para todos, pero no hemos conseguido hacer esta parte de juntar todos los cursos, tener una idea de carga horaria. Entonces, después de esto, empezamos con la publicación de una norma de gestión de tecnologías y salud de la Anvisa, junto con el Ministerio de Salud, en 2010. Después empezamos a buscar el reconocimiento de ingeniero clínico en Brasil por la Orden de los Ingenieros. Ahí podemos hablar que en Brasil tenemos la Orden de los Ingenieros, lo cual la BICLIN, los últimos 4 o 5 años, estamos muy próximos y participando de todos los eventos de la Orden de los Ingenieros. Dentro de la orden hay la parte de ingeniería biomédica también, pero ingeniería clínica está un poco separada todavía. En 2017 fue realizado en Brasil el Congreso Internacional de Ingeniería Clínica, El primero fue en China y este año va a ser en China otra vez, en Shenzhen. Actuamos en proyectos con fiscalización de los hospitales, porque hay ahí de todo. Entonces, la Asociación Brasileña de Ingeniería Clínica ha creado un documento junto con la Orden de Ingenieros para hacer fiscalización de hospitales, si cumple los requisitos de mantenimiento, de gestión, todo esto. En 2019 empezamos un acuerdo de cooperación con el Colegio Americano de Ingeniería Clínica. En la pandemia empezamos el proyecto Más Ventiladores y hemos reparado más de 2.000 ventiladores esta época. En 2020 fue la fundación de la Global Clinical Engineering Alliance y ABClinic se unió un año después, en 2021. En 2021 tenemos un gran muy paso importante, fue la actualización de la norma 02, que eh, está aquí en 2010 y hemos hecho una actualización en 2021. Otra cosa que pasó en 2021 fue parte de responsable técnico para el plan de gestión de tecnologías médicas. Esto fue una norma específica de un estado de Brasil, pero hoy se ha utilizado en muchos estados. Y empezamos otra vez el proyecto de ley para el reconocimiento de la profesión. Esto ahí cambia toda la parte de los cursos, de los tiempos del curso. Entonces, es una parte importante que todavía está en consulta pública y tenemos que trabajar pues, en un proyecto de la parte política también. Entonces, son cosas que no son tan rápidas para cambiar. Hablamos mucho en España y en Portugal sobre electromedicina, ¿sí? Y la cultura de ingeniería clínica que he practicado en Brasil es muy diferente de Portugal, haciendo un poco de mi realidad. Trabajo en los dos países. No como España, hoy como España lo practica de ingeniería clínica, en toda la gestión, pero el concepto de electromedicina en Portugal es solo mantenimiento de equipos. No hace la gestión, toda la parte de la adquisición, que lo hace en Brasil. Brasil lo hacemos todo, la gestión de tecnología, análisis de riesgo, avaliación de proveedores, garantía de calidad, avaliación de proyectos, investimentos, mantenimiento de los equipos, mucho más. Es muy parecido con el americano, el sistema de ingeniería clínica, cómo funciona en Brasil, pero hoy tiene más cosas, tenemos las certificaciones, que yo voy a hablar un poquito de empresas que lo prestan servicio de ingeniería clínica y empezamos, vamos a empezar también el proyecto de certificación del propio servicio de ingeniería clínica del hospital. La interacción de ingeniería clínica es la parte más importante. Ahí tenemos interacción con todo el hospital, el paciente, el médico, la parte de infraestructura hospitalaria, agentes financieros, todos, la administración. Y hoy yo lo digo que una parte muy importante que es la parte de informática. ¿Sí? Hoy tenemos casi todo conectado en red y tenemos que tener la información. Y tenemos que preparar el ingeniero clínico para estar apto para hacer toda parte de comunicación de los equipos con los softwares. Entonces, esta es una parte muy importante. Yo doy muchas clases de ingeniería clínica y aquí hablamos mucho del futuro de la ingeniería clínica. Y esto es una parte que tenemos que tener atención, ¿vale? Y otra parte muy importante es la parte de infraestructura hospitalaria. Los equipos no se han instalado sin esta información, el trabajar en conjunto con la información hospitalaria y el mantenimiento. Perdón. Eh, Hemos creado una comisión femenina en Dinamarca. Fui la primera ingeniera en Brasil que aquí trabajamos con las ingenieras mujeres y tenemos muchos proyectos de ahí, proyectos de libros, artículos. Entonces, hoy empezamos la gestión de la comisión con el profesor Valeria, que faz parte de la directoría. Hoy tenemos más dos personas que están al frente de la comisión y hemos hecho muchos trabajos ahí. Últimas acciones que hemos hecho, el seminario latinoamericano, empezamos el primer seminario en 2023, 24 y este año hemos hecho el tercero, que la sé que he participado. Y los últimos años hemos hablado mucho del seminario latinoamericano en la oficina sobre la residencia de ingeniería clínica. Y los países de América del Sur, algunos ya lo hacen, como Uruguay, tiene un programa muy específico de 2 o 3 años de la formación del ingeniero clínico, pero la formación dentro del hospital. Hemos creado el Grupo Latinoamericano de Ingeniería Clínica, que es el GDI, lo cual ahí hablamos de todo para hacer un trabajo en conjunto de toda América Latina, ¿vale? Lo que hacen en Perú, lo que hacen en México, para tenemos una cosa eh, lineal, conjunta, todo con la misma idea, para no tenemos mucha diferencia entre países. Hemos creado el premio João Pedroso, que es el reconocimiento de los profesionales que están destaque en ingeniería clínica desde 2023. 23, 24, 25 este año tuvimos el premio otra vez. Y muchas acciones que hemos hecho, muchísimas, son las webinars, casi todos los meses. Palestras, eventos, vamos a tener también el Día Mundial de Ingeniería Clínica, el 21 de octubre. Eh, tenemos participación en muchas ferias en Brasil. Tenemos una feria ahora en un estado, en Minas Gerais, y ahora en Recife, donde tuvimos en São Paulo en mayo. Entonces son muchos eventos, congresos que hemos participado y estamos a planear y participar todos los años. Encuentros presenciales y virtuales entre profesionales por región de Brasil. Con Brasil muy grande, hacemos regionales y ahí las personas lo hacen los encuentros presenciales y participaciones y postes nacionales. Ahí tenemos grandes congresos en Brasil de los hospitales y la Asociación Brasileña de Ingeniería Clínica lo apoya todo el proceso, participa en la parte científica y también en la parte del contenido del congreso. Y tenemos mucha relación internacional con la FMBE, el Clinical Engineer Division, la Global Clinical Engineering Alliance y el Colegio Americano de Ingeniería Clínica. Entonces, esto es un poco lo que lo hacemos en Brasil, eh, pero tenemos mucha particularidad de cómo trabajamos. Si tenemos diferentes hospitales de diferentes tamaños, muy grandes, pequeñitos, los muy grandes tienen como 80 personas, como Albert Einstein hoy tiene mucho más de 80 personas, creo que más de 100 personas solo en ingeniería clínica. El Hospital Sírio-Libanés tiene como 65 personas solo en ingeniería clínica. Entonces, son particularidades y lo funciona 24/24, como José lo hace también y Raquel también lo hace en España, pero con más gente para tener más calidad del servicio y garantizar la seguridad del paciente. Hemos hecho también el año pasado una academia que se llama Abeklin Academy, y empezamos a hacer cursos para los socios o no socios de interpretaciones de una ley específica, y ahora vamos a tener más cursos de equipos o de procesos como Lean Ingeniería Clínica, gestión de proyectos, todo esto dentro de nuestra plataforma. Y en 2023 también hemos creado una plataforma de los socios. Y ahí tenemos toda la información de los contenidos o libros o presentaciones, los congresos, todos tenéis todo ahí, lo pueden mirar todo en nuestra plataforma. Una parte muy importante que los últimos 5 años hemos hecho es la parte de la acreditación. Entonces, la AVECLIN tiene una participación muy importante en la creación del manual de servicios de salud. La parte de ingeniería clínica que está aquí es creada con la gente de la Asociación de Ingeniería Clínica, de AVECLIN, mucho más con los directores o expertos de la área, y tenemos muchos pasos, porque ahí la acreditación es como AXA en Brasil, también solo utiliza AXA en Brasil. Entonces ahí tenemos como 3 niveles y hemos hecho todos los niveles para el servicio de ingeniería clínica que el hospital tiene que tener. También la parte de la certificación de la empresa de ingeniería clínica. Para tener muchas veces el concurso, le piden que la empresa de ingeniería clínica tiene la certificación de calidad Rogan certificado de Brasil. Vale. En principio, para Beclean es todo esto y estoy aquí para responder un poco y para vosotros. Gracias, José. Gracias, Aquel.
Muchas gracias a ti, Pedro, como siempre. Sorprendente, ¿no? Los 1.622 socios que tenéis, ¿no? De los 624 que son activos, ¿no?
Sí,
Yo creo que tenéis muy claro la idea de dónde venís, o sea, la clara idea del profesor Khalil y del profesor Van, que yo creo que en los años 80 desarrollaron muchísimo en todo el mapa de Brasil y pusieron en onda lo que era la figura y la importancia de la ingeniería clínica. Yo he vivido en primera persona en el hospital Albert Einstein con vosotros cómo los ingenieros clínicos están presentes en los quirófanos. Entre intervención e intervención entran a revisar y certificar que todos esos dispositivos están de forma correcta. Eh, la historia vuestra es increíble, ¿no? Yo digo, del año 85, y en 2020 os incorporáis a la Global Clinical, perdón, en 2020 se crea la Global Clinical, en el 21 ya subís al carro, desarrolláis normas como la RDC 509 que se sacó en el 2021, la creación de estos responsables técnicos. Tenéis muy clara una idea que es muy importante y que estamos buscando mucho aquí en España. Electromedicina es un concepto, ingeniería clínica es un concepto evolucionado de esta electromedicina. No es lo mismo la electromedicina del año 80, 90, 2000 a la electromedicina que tenemos hoy en día en 2025, que se va a parecer poco a la que tengamos en 2030, si todo este camino evolutivo sigue de esta manera. Yo creo que efectivamente vosotros y los americanos tenéis muchos puntos de coincidencia, coincidís en muchos puntos de unión, lo cual es importante. Tema de certificación, tenéis muy claro el tema de la IT, que de hecho con las preguntas después volveremos y trabajaremos sobre eso. Me ha encantado lo de la comisión femenina. Yo creo que es importante que demos ese paso también y que se incorpore cada día más al trabajo de la ingeniería clínica. Y un tema que en España se está empezando a desarrollar y que, bueno, se está trabajando y la Seeic forma parte de este proyecto es la residencia de la ingeniería clínica, donde tanto Raquel como yo y todos los miembros de la junta directiva, pues estamos trabajando, ¿no? Y bueno, ya sabemos que Uruguay lo tiene, que creo que ya nos comentó, que sé que nos está viendo el profesor Escobar de Argentina, comentó que también en la charla de Toledo de que algunos en algunas comunidades en algunas regiones dentro de Argentina ya también esta figura del ingeniero clínico, esa residencia, que yo creo que ya la sociedad la demanda y que, bueno, veremos un poquito más adelante. Así que, como siempre, gracias, Pedro, por tu brillantez, por lo bien que te explicas y por estar siempre ahí con nosotros, ¿vale? Muchísimas gracias.
gracias,
Bueno,
José.
Raquel, te dejo que produzcas tú al siguiente compañero.
Hello, it's a pleasure for me to present our friend Stefano, an old friend of the Seeic and personal of mine. Stefano is the director of the study center of the Italian Clinical Engineering Association, and he's in the advisory council committee Committee of the Global Clinical Engineer Association, que si no lo sabéis es la Asociación de Ingenieros Clínicos Global. So he's not only member of the Italian Association, but also of the global and the representative of the European force in the Global Alliance. He's not only the representative, he's been a reference for international cooperation in Europe. In fact, he was the one that set the first seat of European cooperation, trying to connect the different associations, inviting different associations to the Italian Congress in different years, trying to make a European federation, talking us about the Global Clinical Alliance and how we could work together. So he has been effortless and tirelessly working to make a group of European clinical engineers in order to work us together. We have made bilateral agreements, French, Italy, Spain. So we have met all, even we didn't have the association, in order to decide what we want to do. And now he's strategically promoting a European division in the Global Clinical Engineer Alliance, which I think that it's a good first step. Stefano will talk later more about it. Before making a European federation, or in order to start having a more active role in the European Commission. Italy, which is a very strong association, has links and contacts in the European Commission, and they have been working in seeing how we can have a more active role in the definition of regulations, in the consultancy sector, and on all of these aspects. He has always been a friend of the Seeic. He was with us in the Congress of Sevilla and Toledo, and we were in Naples too, and he always comes when we ask him, and we are very thankful for it. So, sin más dilación, Stefano, the floor is yours.
Thank you very, very much, Raquel. I really appreciate this invitation by the friends of Seeic. I thank the president Antonio, you, Jose, and all the colleagues. I will go very quickly because the time consciousness. I share my screen. Okay. And I put together a few slides. I started to present clinical engineering in Italy from a very important initiative that you from Seeic promoted, that is a questionnaire with a list of questions to share across different countries to start collecting a few facts and figures about healthcare and clinical engineering in each country, which is useful not only to present what we do in Italy that may be interesting or not, but to see what we can learn one from the other, what we can do together, or what we can take as an example from other countries. So I collected the numbers that in your spreadsheet were asked. So to give an idea, we are 59 million people in the country, and 2.3 trillions of GDP. The gross domestic product is an interesting indicator of how a country is producing and sharing resources within the country. And it's interesting also from the point of view that is our focus of healthcare expenditure and the impact that healthcare expenditure has on the quality of life of citizens. We all know that during the COVID, we also had an economic reduction of the GDP, but the expenditure in healthcare was very high because of the emergency. And this has a reflection in the numbers. In Italy, we have a quite high life expectancy compared to other countries, 80 years for male and 84 years for female. And this is interesting, I think, from the point of view of how healthcare is organized in the country. I will show in the next slide that biggest part of health expenditure in Italy comes from the public sector. So we have what is called a universal coverage of healthcare for the people. Of course, we are struggling with the economic difficulties. Some of the healthcare services must come with a contribution out of pocket by the citizen. However, we have a very important national health system that is providing coverage for everyone. An interesting data that comes from these slides in the statistics is another number that is the healthy life expectancy at birth. As you can see here, we are around 70 years, which means that people is living longer, but in the last 10 to 15 years of life, healthcare becomes an issue. And this has also an impact on healthcare services and management of medical devices also. So it has also an impact on our profession, and we'll see about that. A few other numbers are about the total expenditure for healthcare, and the important number I wanted to share is that 74% in Italy comes from government schemes, so it is from the public sector. And this is, we also have very important private hospitals, but also the bigger private hospitals in the country are funded mainly from public resources. So there is this concept of providing healthcare to everyone. Presenting our national association, I'm also using a slide here. I will stay some minutes on these slides because this is the spreadsheet that Raquel and Jose and the Seeic colleagues shared with us to collect some data and some interesting point of view for all the countries. Our association was created more than 30 years ago in 1993, and the number of active members that we currently have is more than 1,200. A point that could be different in other clinical engineering associations, we try to open our association as much as possible in different directions. On one side, to the young people. So I know that in some countries you have mostly the senior people that is joining the association. In Italy, we are trying to gather together everyone from the very senior members to the younger people and also students. This is very important to bring together all the profession. Another aspect, and I will show in the next slide, is about the type of job position that clinical engineers have. That is not only people working inside the hospital, but also clinical engineers doing their profession inside the companies or health institute or other kind of institutions. The member title is Ingegnere Clinico in Italian, so it's clinical engineer. I will not spend time here on the dichotomy between clinical engineer, biomedical engineer. I know sometimes there is these differences, but in Italy, our profession is the clinical engineer. And as I said, people work in hospital, people work in independent service organizations providing maintenance to hospital, or even in the industry, so with the manufacturers. We have an yearly congress, the very big congress that we have in May or June, depending on the year. And we also introduced a second yearly national event. We call it AEC meeting. That is a smaller congress, more focused on technical matters. And it's going to be this year in December on the topic of a replacement of old equipment. So very interesting topic. We have webinars during the year, we have publications. Very, very important point, the training. The training is a key factor because not only it provides knowledge, which of course is the main reason to do training, and as an association we provide the training to our members, but also because we have, you see in another line here, the compulsory specific continuous training. So clinical engineers that are registered at the National Council of Engineers must get a certain number of credits during the year to keep their registration valid. So there is this concept that is international and in Italy is also applied of continuous professional training. And since it could be difficult with all the work commitments that we have to attend specific training courses, as an association, we support our members with training courses that have an accreditation to get these credits. And our association is registered as a provider of these credits. So this is a very important point to be a member of the association and get this official training. We have work announcements in the website. Talking of the clinical engineering profession, we do not have at national level a law that makes it mandatory to have a clinical engineer in the hospital. In reality, each hospital has a clinical engineering inside. Most hospitals have it, and especially the big hospitals. You don't find a big hospital in Italy without clinical engineering. So this is a de facto situation. It's interesting. I think it's also a good thing that our profession has grown because of the value we provide. Of course, it would also be important to have a legal obligation, a legal recognition. However, the reality is that hospital management, physicians, all the other stakeholders, they feel that they need clinical engineering. So even though there is not at the national level a law that requires clinical engineers to be present in the hospital, in reality, we have. There are regional regulations that require technical profession inside the hospital, and so clinical engineering in particular, but not at the national level. And we do not have the concept of mandatory residencia, as Jose was mentioning. So we don't have the resident engineer in university or also in other hospitals. Here, I want to mention a concept. There is a huge discussion going on, and I know also in Spain and in other countries, if it's a good thing or not to have this kind of mandatory specialization with an internship inside the hospital, the same way that the physicians have. On one side, it could be good because in this way, young engineers get paid to work in a good way, to work in the hospital, and you have a specialization and you have a career that goes closer to the career and recognition of the physicians. On the other side, this seems to me and to some other colleagues that it can create a difference and a kind of a wall, a boundary between those clinical engineers that choose a profession in the hospital and those clinical engineers that choose a profession in the industry. In many cases, we have a transition. People that has grown expertise working with companies, then they go to work for a hospital, which is a good thing to share experiences. But with a strict internship program, this transition could be a bit difficult. So there are pros and cons, and a discussion is going on. Of course, we have clinical engineering universities since many years for graduates and also masters after graduations, but we don't have a regulated training for technicians. We have technical schools for technicians. Very interesting. in the last few years, a number of schools have grown at intermediate level, above high school but below university, specific for biomedical technicians. And there are many young guys that attend these schools, and they are very much requested by hospitals and by companies. Regulation and ecosystem. We have a technology map at country level. We have a registry at the Ministry of Health, but only for high technology, so the most expensive technologies. We do not have a national criteria for medical device renewal. That's one of the reasons why we put this as a central topic of our IEC meeting in December, because we feel that managing the existing inventory and making a renovation in a smart way is very important. We have a national nomenclature. As many of you may know, the new European medical device nomenclature was shaped starting from the Italian Classificazione Nazionale dei Dispositivi Medici, the CND. We have the medical device regulation, the CE marking with the MDR and IVDR also for diagnostic, in vitro diagnostic. And we also have a medical device manufacturers association. It's called Confindustria Dispositivi Medici. And our association has a very close relationship with this trade association of manufacturers in the country. So our society was founded in 1993 to promote the professional figure of clinical engineers and to promote clinical engineering services within healthcare organizations. As I said, our career path can be different. We have clinical engineers that work in hospitals, and they can be an employee of the hospital or could be an employee of an external company providing services to the hospital, but they stay at the hospital. They do basically a very similar work. So we consider all a family of clinical engineers in our association. We also have clinical engineers working with the manufacturer, especially those that work in the maintenance part for GE, Philips, Siemens, and so on. And we also have people like me, for example, that work mostly in consultancy and research. So a very different career path. That is also an interesting point of view. The type of activities very similar to what was described in the previous presentation for Brazil is not only maintenance or health technology management, that is the core of the profession, but it's a whole new group of activities: health risk management, health technology assessment, project management, investment planning. Very important also for us in Italy, health information technology, not only the collaboration with the people from IT, which is important, but also clinical engineers that become responsible for information technology. This is a change also. So we not only collaborate with the IT, but we are the information technology in healthcare. So this is also very interesting point of view. Many activities that we do as an association, and I have only highlighted here because, as I said, it's very important, the professional training and the activities that as an association we do in the field of official training as an accredited provider of events. This is an interesting point. And our National Congress is really the event of the year. We arrived to the 25th edition this year in Naples. The topic of the Congress was about sustainability of healthcare and in particular of medical technology. We had more than 1,200 participants and 800 people from the companies that were sponsoring the event. And talking of training courses, we had 800 attendees to our our training courses. We do training during the year, but since the National Congress is a very good opportunity that people come to one location, then we do training courses before the Congress and the day after the Congress. In this way, we give a very good opportunity to collect the necessary credit and go in deeper detail of some innovative and interesting topics with training courses. Collaborations, as Pedro was mentioning for Brazil, we are also affiliated to IFMB, to the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, in Europe to EAMBES. We participate in the Global Clinical Engineering Day, the International ICHTM Congress. We have two very important collaboration, one with the CERN, the research center in Geneva, for the study and sharing of innovative biotechnologies, and with the WHO to collaborate in projects at international level. And we formalized agreements with the national associations. As Raquel was saying, together with France and Spain especially, and other countries in Europe, but France and Spain being really our closest friends, we are trying to build a European Federation of Clinical Engineering. And we are now working to do this through the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. In the meantime, we also signed one-to-one agreements, which are also important with Spain, with France, with the Americans of ACE, and also an agreement, a memorandum of understanding with ECRI, the Historical Research Center for Medical Technology Safety. I got to the end of my presentation. I wanted to share with you the results of a survey that we made about what are the priorities for the future, what our members feel are the hot topics that will shape the next few years. So one topic is green and sustainability. So the sustainability of medical technologies. Our Congress was about this, but this is going to be a hot topic also in the next years. Internal in the association, sharing information across members and increase the opportunities to meet during the year. Artificial intelligence is everywhere, and it's also in the legislation. We have in Europe the AI Act, and in medical devices too. So we are feeling that we need training, we need knowledge in artificial intelligence. The involvement and training of young colleagues, we really believe in training and growing our youngest colleagues. And to finish, as also in the other countries, the importance to promote the recognition of the role of the clinical engineer and our institutional visibility. As a last thing, our next appointment, we will meet everyone who will come in Shenzhen in a couple of weeks from now for the 6th International Congress of Clinical Engineering, organized by the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance with the friends in China. And I really hope to meet many of you in Shenzhen in mid-October. Thank you very much for your attention. And I'm here to answer any question also during the webinar later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefano. As always, clear view on the Italian ecosystem. I see we have the same life expectancy. I don't know if it's because of the money we invest or of the Mediterranean diet. I have to congratulate the Italian association, because it's not only a big association that it has a lot of members, but they do really a very good job in the Congress that I've been to, and the training and the publications that they publish. And that's why, although there's not a legal compulsory requirement to be clinical engineers in the hospitals, due to the tradition and your training and all the supports that you give to the members, there is a respect for the clinical engineers in Italy. We always discuss, and it's very pertinent that you raise this question of the mandatory specialization for clinical engineers in hospitals, and we need to find a way to fit people from the industry that maybe want to go back to the hospital, so that it's not only a way to ensure the training of the new engineers, but that there can be other ways to recover other people. So that is not a block. I totally agree. I don't know how we can do this, but I fully agree with you. And I'm very happy to hear that clinical engineers are implementing the role of IT people in Italy. That gives me faith in the ecosystem. And also, the last thing you said, no, the vision and what your associates are worried about or concerned or what think that is the future. I think that if we ask our associates, the problems or the ideas or the concerns will be the same. So that's again another reason for which we need to work together and lobby together to focus on these things that we can achieve better together than separate. So Jose Domingo will introduce the next guest.
So thank you so much, Stefano, for listening to you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for your clear point of view. It's so interesting to listen to you about your association. Is really a powerful association, and I've been there during the last congress. It's incredible how many company attend to your congress, the level of the conference. So congratulations for your hard work to get that kind of congress. How many things that you are doing during this year. So thank you so much for your kindly me. So we are going to continue. We are also honored to welcome, in this case, to the philosopher Dr. Abdelhadi El Falaki. He's a biomedical engineering expert, and he's also the vice president of Morocco Biomedical Society. Morocco has a strong tradition of clinical engineering congress, but the annual SMB Congress in Marrakech stand out on a particularly powerful event. This year, I had the great pleasure of participating there and sharing the Spanish experience, and I would like to sincerely thank you, your society, for the warm reception and for the giving Seeic the opportunity to take part. I would also like to extend a special thanks to Ibtisan for bringing us together and helping to build this bridge of collaboration. Abdelhadi himself has been a driving force in promoting biomedical engineering in Morocco and across all of the region, and his efforts are a great value to our shared profession. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much, Jose Domingo, and thanks to everyone for being here. I don't know if you can see my presentation.
We see perfectly, Abdelhadi.
Okay, I'm Abdelhadi El Falaki. I'm biomedical engineering graduated from French, from the UTC. And I continued my studies to get a PhD in biomedical engineering. I'm the VP of the Biomedical Engineering Association. First of all, I will talk about our association. It was created in 2013. The SMB today is a national scientific and professional reference in biomedical engineering in Morocco. It regroups biomedical actors from both hospital field and where our members ensure the daily safety and availability of technologies, and from also the industrial sector where the innovation, manufacturing, and solution are developed. By bringing these communities together, we keep one shared goal inside advancing biomedical engineering as a lever of care and better health outcomes for our patients. This is the organization of our board members. So maybe some of you Christophe and Jose Domingo, you visited us last year, so you know some person from here. We have board members, administration, and we have also committees, scientific committees, and organizational and strategic and media communication. The goals of our association is to promote biomedical engineering uh, in hospitals and in industrial companies, to facilitate training and in research in biomedical engineering, and to defend the specificity of our job as a biomedical engineers or technician, to establish a partnership with the association in Morocco and around the world, and to contribute to health politics in Morocco. We have during the year a lot of events we organize, training for technician and engineers. We organize each year our congress that we call biomedical Moroccan biomedical meeting, in which we invite our partners from the globe. We organize also the International Conference on Biomedical Engineering and Science, and we organize a symposium in collaboration with the schools and the university, and also with Ministry of Health. In terms of partnership, we developed many partnerships here in Morocco and with other university or biomedical association, like the AFIB, French Association of Biomedical Engineering. We were in discussion last year with the Spanish Association, represented by Jose Domingo, to develop this kind of partnership also with their association. We have also a partnership with the Moroccan Association of Industrial Health Industry, in which we develop a strong partnership regarding standards and medical devices. And for association in Africa, I will talk about Tunisian association, and with the other association like Moroccan Simulation Association and Digital Health Association. About biomedical engineering in Morocco, the place of biomedical engineering in Morocco has emerged over the past two last decades as a strategic discipline at the intersection of medicine, engineering, and public health. It grows and reflects the increasing reliance of healthcare on complex technologies, ranging from imaging and radiotherapy and for other modalities, to connected devices and digital health platform. At the hospital level, biomedical technicians or engineers ensure not only the installation and calibration, but also the maintenance of biomedical equipment, and the compliance with safety standards, and the optimization of the life cycle of technologies of this equipment, and support to clinical teams in their daily missions. At national level, we contribute to the deployment of health reforms by ensuring the investment in technologies translate into safe, accessible, and sustainable care for all patients. Also, for at the academic and scientific level, in Morocco, we are building a strong ecosystem where biomedical engineering engage in research, knowledge production, and dissemination. The Moroccan Biomedical Association contributes actively in two products, the ACBOS International Conference on Biomedical Engineering, ACBOS, which has become a multidisciplinary scientific forum that we organize with our annual congress in Morocco and in Africa, and international researchers exchange knowledge and explore innovation. We also have our journal, scientific journal, the Moroccan Journal of Health Innovation, is a peer-reviewed journal dedicated in which we work with the university professors to advance knowledge in intersection of engineering, technology, and public health, ensuring also Moroccan and African contributions in the scientific debates. Through the platform, these platforms, our Congress and ECBS and also the journal, the SMB not only strengthens professional practice, but also ensure that Morocco takes part in the global production and diffusion of scientific knowledge in biomedical engineering. About our annual congress as a platform for cooperation. Each year, our congress in Marrakesh has become an unique platform of dialogue, welcoming colleagues from Africa, from Europe, and from Asia. And in the future, we hope also to receive some colleagues from America, as we have with us Brazilian Association, and from Australia. Why not from Australia? It is a place where knowledge is exchanged, partnership are born. We develop the partnership with AFIB is born from our Congress. This one also we create a strong bridge with the Spanish Association. This Congress is not only a scientific meeting; it's an international hub where we build bridges with organizations as with other associations. Through this partnership, we contribute to the goals of the Global Clinical Engineering Association to consolidate a strong, united, and globally recognized profession that directly impact patient safety and quality of care. About the vision of 2030, the evolution of clinical engineering. The vision of our association is to participate in the ongoing reform of Moroccan healthcare system, which is a ambitious project. It aims to modernize infrastructures, expand coverage, and prepare hospitals for the digital era. Within this transformation, biomedical engineers will have a decisive role to play by 2030 in terms of digital transformation of healthcare, also industrial and health sovereignty, and also safety, reliability, and governance of medical devices. So step by step, biomedical engineers in Morocco are moving to being technical expert to become strategic leaders in healthcare delivery. In terms of synergy with the IT experts, I had a discussion yesterday with the chief of healthcare system information of a military hospital, and we discussed about the role of this synergy with IT between biomedical and IT to build the hospital of tomorrow. The hospital of the future is now, and it will be digital, data-driven, and increasingly connected. To make this future safe and effective, biomedical engineers and IT professionals must work hand in hand. This collaboration is essential to secure the hospital networks and protect patient data, integrate connected devices and Internet of Medical Things, apply artificial intelligence to diagnostics, predictive maintenance, and clinical decision support. So build a smart, sustainable hospital that optimize resources in Morocco and across Africa or in the world. This synergy is not only an opportunity, it's a necessity. It will allow us to modernize infrastructures, ensure equitable access to healthcare, and make the continent a pioneer in innovative, resource-efficient healthcare solution. So to conclude my presentations, and before I conclude, I would like to sincerely thank the organizers of this session, and more especially Jose Domingo and our their colleagues Christophe Paré and Ptissam Hissi for their commitment and vision in developing this partnership. Let me close in and underline a simple but powerful truth. Behind every medical act, there is a technology. Behind every technology, there is a biomedical engineer. Through the SMB and our conference and journal, we are building a strong profession, and we invite all people here to contribute to a partnership around the world to contributing to safer, resilient, and sustainable healthcare engineering. Thank you.
Thank you so much for interesting conference, Abdel Hadi. It's very interesting that you created your society in 2030. I know it that it's a really a clear organization, and I know some of the professionals who will be part of your association. They are really good professional. They have a high level of knowledge, as I know perfectly. You have some really interesting events during the year, as you explained. Some of them are, as you say, is a professional of Imagine. There's a grade is very important. As you know, I'm a professor in the university. It's a close relationship with the university is essential for develop the future of the biomedical engineer, the clinical engineer in this case. I like to match the vision of the biomedical engineer that you have. In Spain, we have something similar. We are taking the same path or similar path that they are doing. I love one sentence that you're talking about is about the contribution of Africa is essential for the develop of the clinical engineering all over the world. Okay, it's essential that you continue in this path because it is the right path. Okay, and I wanted to finish your presentation because your congress is really good with a very high level of conference. And as I talked before, during this past month, we take your hand and we have to sign an agreement in the next Congress that we shared, because in this way we are going to make a stronger bridge. Okay, so thank you so much, Abdel Hadi. So Raquel, continue with the next guest, please.
Somebody was asking something. Bueno, our next guest is Christophe Parret. He's the head of biomedical department at the GHU of Grenoble in France. He's also the coordinator of the international branch of AFIP, which is the French Association for Clinical Engineers. He's also an old friend of us. He has been fighting and not defying, not resting, to create a European association in any form. The collaboration between AFIP and Seeic has been history, and it was formally reinforced last year in Strasbourg in the Congress by signing a collaboration agreement. we have worked with Christoph, but also with the invaluable support of Itzan and Franco, who, together with the leadership of Christoph, work in the international section. I can vouch that their Congress is also spectacular, and I'm sad that I missed the Parisian Congress, but I was able to go to Strasbourg, and the amount of groups and trainings and the level of the presentations was amazing. The work of the different divisions is very inspiring, and the publication and training courses that they do, even the summer courses. And also, I would like to highlight that they start an early collaboration with students associations, which is very interesting because they engage them before even they are engineers in how the role of the engineers should be. And I found that also very interesting. Christoph stands out as a true model and committed person in the clinical engineering role and the vision of the clinical engineers. And please, without more delay, I will leave the floor to you, Christoph. Thank you very much for being here.
Okay, thank you, Raquel. I want to share my presentation. Okay, I'm very happy to be here with you. Yes, I want to present you, I want to share with you 3 parts of the profession biomedical. The first is to present you association, AFIB association, French association, very quickly, but it is very important to promote the profession. A small part about, for example, my hospital, my university hospital, but it's very small part because it's important to share with, I share with you how is the work in a university hospital. And I want to share again international vision of AFIB because AFIB since international is very important. Just origin of AFIB is similar of Brazil, but in 1982, January 1982, is with a small group, 7 group of engineers decided to create an association. And because we have on the slide a picture of one of them, and Didier Valence, one of them engineer, because we need to organize, to define status of hospital engineer, and to participate of medical device vigilance is very before the material vigilance in Europe. And you need to exchange the knowledge to speak with a colleague and create a national days. Yes, and 33 years later, the AFIB is the same, more important. Just a point, AFIB is only for a clinical engineer. We work in hospital, a hospital private hospital or public hospital, but solo only hospital. And it's different with other association. And we are 400 members, and the association is very dynamic. And I want to thank very Valerie Moreno is our president, and the role of the mission of AFIB is very important for the French profession. We have many areas of expertise. We work as anesthesia, intensive care, radiology, laboratory, radiotherapy, all departments where there are medical devices. And we work with other associations. For example, on the slides, we can see a congress of reanimation, but we work with a radiology congress, with anesthesia congress. Just very quickly what we do, because it's important. We have an association, but it's important we produce something. We have, for example, AFib 3D printing is a collaborative platform for 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 to product for product printing 3D. We work about technical forms to help a colleague on dialysis, ventilation, or other equipment. We want to work to job description because it's important to precise the role and responsibilities of biomedical engineering. Naturally, we work of digital security because we talked before, but the IT is very important, and there are a place for professional IT, but there's a place for clinical engineer, and we work together. And we want to develop a national questionnaire, and I don't know if the traduction is correct, but a national guide about security, digital security. We need to precise the maintenance equipment with a standard, and we work with AFNOR on the AFAC biomedical. Is very important. I hope that a lot of department of maintenance will be AFAC biomedical. And naturally, we work with international conferences as RSNA, CES. I want to share with you the importance of our association, because our association helps us to work, because when the national days, our association make a promotion of the profession, recognition of actors, institutional, national, and is a place to share with a colleague, to share knowledge is very important. And the other point is very important is the continuity, because when we have association, we have 43 years. We have it's important when AFib will speak. The other people in France think is very important. I just share very quickly my hospital to show the organization with a university hospital. My university hospital at Grenoble is the first trauma center in France because it's near of the mountain, and we have a lot of skiing accidents. And the third place in neurochirurgy. I do very quickly. The organization, my organization, is the same in other hospital. We have a first part with engineering. The engineering need to advise doctor to purchase equipment, and this part is very important. I think this part is very important in France, and it's important to share this part because when the engineer is recognized with the doctor, is more easier to work in the hospital. And this part is not easy, but when we arrive to work with the doctor to advise for the equipment, is very interesting. We have another part is administrative account to do invoices, for example, and it's very important because we are autonomous. And the last part is more common, is maintenance, and we have a technical people and policy maintenance in the hospital. Just 3 points. I think is very important to understand the place of the clinical engineer in France. The clinical engineer in France must to define a maintenance policy with a team. Yes, is very common, The second part is purchasing policy, because in France, is one of the reasons why it's difficult to the AFIB. I decided not accepted a member of the company, private company, because in France, clinical engineer purchase equipment. I think important they have independence of choice. This part is common in France. And the third part is work with the doctor. And in the hospital, we have a committee composed of doctors, because as other hospital, budget is insufficient, and we have to make choice. And it's difficult to make a choice without doctors. And clinical engineer is the head of a project of this committee. The last part, I want to share with you why AFIB want to develop international. Is more different as I asked before, because we want to learn from the other country, yes, but we want to create link and concrete link. For this, we have created a circle of 8 people working in pair, and it's very difficult if the AFIB have only 1 people international. It's difficult to create link, and the circle must speak regularly with the pair with a part of association. For example, Aptisam and Franco is a link with Seeic, for example, but we have other pair for other association. It is very important to create a link in continually. Our partners, we have the same partners as the IEC or other association, but we sign agreement to define what we do, what we want to do together. Because if we sign an agreement, but we not define what we do, is not concrete, has not interest. And the first we think with APIBQ is the association, Canadian association, and after Italian, Morocco, Spanish. We work with NGO, non-government organization partners, such as UMATEM and La Chaîne de l'Espoir is 2 NGO, French NGO. But it's very important to work with this association, because we have a concrete action. Is a topic of the AFIB at international. We are member of the global association as the FMBE, GCEA, and ACCA. Thank you. Our action is very, I think it's very important, because for the member understand they want to participate at international action. It's important that that not only talk, we need to concrete action. One of them is, for example, is a participation of one of the member of AFIB at the AIEC summer school, because we find it's very interesting summer school, but what is it? It's interesting for the French member, I don't know. And we decided is a Franco, go 1 week to understand. We decided if this type of training is interesting to do in France, for example. We participate in our partners conference, the National Day. The next, this year we go at Marrakesh, thanks Abdel. We go at Napoli, thanks as IEC. The next month we go at the Canadian Association. We have other action, for example, ERM training with La Chaîne de l'Espoir, because we have the luck to speak French in the most of the African country. And we do training ERM at Dakar, with the University of Dakar and with la chaîne de l'Espoir. Is a type of this action is very interesting. We want to develop them. On other interesting is a Seeic. I don't know if you know, but is a kind of organization of the whole country, African country with a French language, and is an opportunity to discuss with us to promote the biomedical profession in Africa. And they are engineer, but they are also director of hospital. Very quickly, but the conclusion is the French clinical engineer in hospital in France is a very interesting job. We have cross-disciplinary, is very interesting, is very unique. Is a place of engineer is very easy to work with as a head of project. And we have the people we can transform a medical need and in technology reality and purchase the equipment associated. And we can, when we have more experiences, the engineer can play an active role in the institution and major project. And just because recognition is very important, but in France, recognition is based only on competencies and useful. And if we have competencies, it's very easy. The contrary is true again. Okay, thank you for your attention. Bye.
Thank you, Christophe, again for your presence and for your vision. As I've said, the France Association is very innovative and is developing projects always at the cutting edge of the technologies, 3D printing, scanning, new technologies. I'm happy to hear the participation of the association also in job description of clinical engineers and regulatory, and that you are also collaborating with IT people in impressing the presentation of your hospital. And as we said before with Stefano, and you are a clear example of that, although there is no regulatory, the jobs are done by the people, and well-trained people make the place of the job required, no? If we train the people, they will believe in our responsibility and the necessity of the job, no? A French association has a strong collaboration, not only with other associations as the Italian and as the Spanish, but also liaisons with Africa, in Morocco and Canada, maybe with the French. No, we are more with the Latin American speaking countries, and you are with the French. Together we gather more people, but also with medical organizations, which is very interesting, and NGOs. So I find your presentation very challenging and inspiring. And I would like to start the questions and a little bit the debate if people have questions. First of all, I would like to ask all of you, because I'm a true believer in the importance of uniting forces. So I believe that nowadays we have a powerful tool that is the Global Clinical Engineer Alliance, and I would like to ask each one of you, from your point of view, what can the alliance do for clinical engineers? In the sense, we have seen, Stefano presented it in his slide, that everybody is worried about the same. The role of clinical engineers, the training, sharing of publications, regulatory, the common codification of medical devices, some silly thing that is, every country has the different, the relationship with the industry and the sustainability. So these are issues that everybody has said. How can we cooperate with the industry? How can we make them more sustainable, quality, safety, and obviously technological challenges like artificial intelligence, everybody's talking about, and the relation with other colleagues like IT people. We will talk about this later. So, Pedro, I would like to start with you. You can give us a vision, no, of South America, Brazil, and Portugal. You already explained. And being the treasurer of the Global Clinical Engineer Alliance, what do you think this association could do for the engineers?
For me, the connection, it's the global connection, is very, very important. So the alliance help to transform the knowledge international and the benefits to practice in different countries. So it's the first impact, the global connection, but local impact. So I told these words in Spain about the presentation, the guide, and the part of the practice, the experience of different societies. It's very, very important to share the practice, the different communities, the global communities, for every association learn with different associations. This is very, very important. So the capacitation and the training, share the programs, the education programs, certifications, and this point is to grow the development of the professional around the world. So if we share these programs, the certification, how we did, it's a good point to share to our community. And the part of the societies, the Fabriclean, Seeic, CAFE, BAIC, and we need to work together, not only the European. I'm very happy to be part of the group of European association. Here in Portugal, we don't have any association to be part of the European, but we need to create this, but to stay together. So we have different global alliance, EFMBE, CED, but we need to work together to make better for all the professional in the health systems.
Thank you very much. Fully agree with you. Stefano, as a promoter of the European division or a sort of alliance, what do you think in concrete, no, for European or for our Spanish, but also for your Italian associates and the French associates? What could we do in the Global Clinical Alliance?
Well, I always like to think that we are working, or these kind of collaborations can have two different levels. One is more practical and one is more idealistic. Yeah, I sometimes I am a bit too much idealistic, and I appreciate discussing, for example, with Christophe, bringing me back to reality. Like, yes, but in concrete, what we do. However, sometimes we really do. We have a saying like throwing our heart. I don't know what we will do, but something important will grow out of this network. So on one side, there is this idealistic thinking that being together will be important in any case. But then we are engineers, we are practical people. So there are a number of things. One, for sure, at a regional level, is that there are some decisions that are not taken at national level in Italy, in Spain, or in France, but are taken at a European level. We have started discussions and links with the European Commission, and it was clearly stated that in order to have a seat at the table where discussions are made about legislative actions, we cannot be a single nation, but it must be a network representing Europe. It doesn't matter to be 25 countries. If we start with 6 or 7, it's enough. but it's more than one. And that's very important because, with the Artificial Intelligence Act, the Data Act now, the MDR, IVDR, and a lot of things are discussed at European level. And some other things are discussed at an even better, bigger level. I'm thinking of the WHO initiative a few years ago about collecting how many clinical engineers and technicians are in your country to bring the numbers to the International Labour Organization. So these are practical things that require that some network exists. So my idea is that we will have practical actions to do. We need to set the tool to do that. And the European chapter within the alliance, and in the future, maybe also an independent organization like a Federation of European Associations can be the way to do this kind of things. Pretty sure about that.
Thank you, Christoph. Stefano asked for your practical opinion on the matter.
Okay, no, I agree with Stefano, no problem. But yes, AFIB, a small difference is it's only clinical engineer in hospital. And the link with the company is not very close. And the regulation, in European regulation, yes, interests the members, but not very important for us. But I think it's important we work together at a European level. And we have an opportunity because the Global Alliance, we have already three countries. And I think it's a good thing to continue with this, to have a voice of clinical engineer at level European. I think it's a good thing. But for the France, it's not enough. I prefer to work with a concrete action, with training, knowledge with best knowledge with Italy, with other country. For the member is very important because the member of the AFIB wait this, and when I speak about European Federation or Organisation European, oh man, Christophe, what do you do? Yes, but yes, two level, but it's very important we work together. It's a good thing. I'm very happy to work with you.
I would like to know the point of view also of the Moroccan countries, Abdelahid. No sé, I don't know what you think about the Global Clinical Alliance. I think Morocco is not member of the alliance yet, no?
We are not. I think to have a partnership with all association from the globe is a great thing. But we have to discuss every context apart, because if I talk about Morocco, the biomedical and clinical engineering are not very old specialty we discuss for a long time. Just in the last 2 decades, and where we start to discuss about biomedical engineering and hospital engineering. So we are able to develop this partnership with all association and with the GCEA. But it needs, as I told you, it needs some readaptation about context, and we are ready to join this network of biomedical actors in the world. For example, if we discuss, I heard Christoph talked about or European regulation. It's something that is so far from us. We have our local context, regulation, and are sometimes different. We are near of European standards, but in some axes we are different. So if we need to develop this partnership, we have to choose some axes in which we need to collaborate together.
Mhm. I fully agree. I think, and I will say it again, I'm an enthusiast of alliances because as the idealist of Stefano, I think that something good has to come out. I think we can all learn from each other's. It doesn't matter if an organization is newer. You can learn from the documents and criticize from another fresh point of view and see. Sharing publications, training, and knowledge is always good. I think that it's very, very important. Something that the global clinical engineer is doing is that putting the role of clinical engineer on the communication, on the parade, and providing visibility. This is also very important, and this is free. And I don't see the Global Clinical Association as an association that is regulatory or mandatory that tells any country what it has to do. I see it as a common point where we can get the best of each other. The day that I don't see it that way, I won't be part of the association. No, that's the nice of it, and the technical challenges that are coming, and the sustainability, the relation with the industry. This you can do from your side of your country, from European level, but also from global level. So that's my. I don't know if Pedro wants to add. He's nodding.
Yes, I agree with you. I think it's the same.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe Jose Domingo, you were thinking about some other questions. I don't know if somebody asked any questions on the public. No se te oye, Jose Domingo.
Sorry, we only have 10 minutes, okay? We hope to finish at 7 o'clock. In 2 hours is enough for all of us, okay? So I'm going to ask you 4 questions very directly. The first one, you are talking about, Stefano, during your presentation, about how is the professional of clinical engineering evolving. So there is any type of specialization, something like medical, for example, traumatologist, radiologic, to support the clinical engineering to develop to the more advanced roles in the future?
I was thinking about this as we spoke before. I already mentioned that we don't have kind of like a specialization school like the physicians. I was also thinking, apart from a specialization school, if it's a good thing or not that clinical engineers get very much specialized. I think this is a twofold thing. On one side, it's good to, in a complex world, we need specialization. So someone very expert in information technology and someone very expert in electrical safety can be two very different skill sets, two very different clinical engineers. Both are valuable clinical engineers, but very different knowledge. On the other side, I think that one of the things that hospital management and physicians appreciate is our attitude of problem solving and being able to approach a broad area of issues. So I think, in my personal opinion, if we get too much specialized, we would miss the point of the broad spectrum of knowledge of clinical engineering. So I think that there must be an equilibrium, broad spectrum, and anyone has something. I like more medical device regulations. My colleagues likes more electrical safety, and the other guys is on health technology assessment. That's fine, but we all need a common ground of knowledge because otherwise we are too much specialized.
They probably have some common subject, we can say like that, and some specialization subject at the end of like something like a master, no? For example, here in Spain, we are working in 6 types of skills, okay? So that I explain you in Naples when we be with you. So, Len, I want to introduce that in Spain we are working on a group which is part of this group. We are working on that type of specialization. So I wanted to share with you, okay, Stefano? So Christophe Afif has a really strong international section, as you explained during your presentation, led by your, for example, the great support that Apitisan and Franco give to Seeic. They are always open to work together. I have to say you thank you so much for the participation for both of them. They are working very hard and they are pushing me when I move. They don't forget to do that. Don't forget we are going to continue our relationship. So thank you so much for this part. So, how do you see the international work helping clinical engineering gain more recognition with hospitals worldwide?
I I think when I talked before, for a clinical engineer, it's important we have competencies. And when we work with the people, we do the same thing. It's difficult to improve your competencies. And with international relation, it's possible to see people we don't think the same things, and I the open view is very important for our competencies, our job in our hospital. And I think is a part of important of international. Because if we stay only with a French colleague, we have the same problem, we have the same solution. At level international, there are other problems, there are other solutions, and we learn everywhere. We learn in Italy, we learn in Morocco.
Yes.
It's very, very important. We learn when I go in Burkina Faso, where I go in Senegal, because yes, there are other views. International is very important for us, and after, it's easier to do your work in your hospital.
Okay.
For example.
I fully agree with you because it's the future. I'm sure about that. You know, it's unstoppable, as I will let you explain you later. So, Abdelhadi, what's your opinion about this type of new relationship between international society, and how do you see the future, as you explained during your presentation about the clinical engineering in the next years?
First of all, I want to invite you all to our next Congress, which will be held in February 20 and 26 in Marrakesh. So you can visit us and see the warming and the charm of our kingdom. You are welcome. The second thing, I I always have an idea about organizing an international congress in Morocco. Why not have a reflection between all association and the international association to organize this for example, for 2027 in 2 years. To hold this event here in
It
Morocco.
sounds great.
Yes, it will be great. It will be sunny, so you are so you are welcome. I think if we fix a goal like this in 2 years, we can develop several axes in which we can work. For example, develop committees under the international associations in collaboration with the local association, for example, with the Moroccan Association and with all the association which are which are part of the GCEA, and discuss every context in this event, as we can discuss the result of these 2 years. So we
Okay.
organize this. It's my open of view. I don't know if you share the same goals. I invite you in Morocco, but if you have other preference, we can work on it.
We hope to see before, I hope so, in Las
Yes.
Palmas 2026, okay?
Yes, it's in 50 kilometers, no, not
Yeah, it's
so
very
far.
close to us. So,
Yes.
for of you are invited, as the president say at the beginning of the presentation, are invited to our congress this year, where our president is working very hard to create a really interesting and a great program. So all of you are invited. We also wanted to make. I'm not going to say nothing about that, okay? I'm waiting for the news in few days, okay?
Good.
So thank you so much.
Welcome.
Pedro, as you well know, Spain, Brazil is shared several key events recently, as you explained before. First, Seeic in Toledo, where we met together the first time we start these nice relationships. Hospitalar 2025 during this year with Rachel and me. We are very proud to be part of this congress. It's really incredible, the Hospitalar. Everyone who is not been there, I invite you to go there, because you can see the last technology in healthcare. So it's really interesting. And also you are be part of the presentation of my friend Jose Ramon Ledesma, his the Seeic guide presentation. So how do you envision the partnerships evolving, and what can our society learn one from the other of each other? Okay.
Okay, you get a good point. About this partnership, the first point is the continuity in the reciprocity, not just isolate events, but the process of building trust in strategy alignment. So we need to do this together. Second thing is about the mutual learning. From Brazil, have the scale of the continental health system and the integration of clinical engineering complex, challenging environments. So this is point for we can share. And from Spain, you have in Spain, in Europe, different maturity in the public policies. So European integration, standardization of best practice. So it's very interesting. I'm working in Europe. I know different the practice, the public tendings. And Brazil, we change now the law of tendings. It's for our clinical engineers very good to do the specifications of the medical devices to buy and the public system. And tomorrow we'll talk about this dynamically. And the new the cooperation pathways. So we can share our trainings and capacity building projects, bilateral publication guides. The guide from Spain is very, very, very interesting guide, the Seeic guide, and translate to Portuguese, to English, to French. It's a point of our partnership. It's for me, it's very important to translate to Portuguese. Exchange of professional research. This is a very good point. We create programs like Italian association have the summer program, and to share professionals and share this experience. And the future visions for me, we started with the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. Everclean and Seeic working together in the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. And for me, it's the future. So it's my point for our partnership.
So could you tell us how many participants was in the last Hospitalar 2025?
The hospital are normally 8,000 people pass at the fair. Okay, it's a very, very, very big. So we have a part in our seminar. It's open. All the people go to the fair, pass with our seminar, and can watch and hear our our seminar. So next year we will do the different, but I can speak now. But in the hospital affair next year we will have different event, but normally it's 80,000 people pass with the 4 days in the hospital affair.
It was incredible. So as we come to the end of the session, so I wanted to take a moment to reflect on what we have shared today. So first of all, I would like to say you everyone, thank you so much. Thank you, Christoph. Thank you, Stefano. Thank you so much, Abdelhadi. Thank you so much, Pedro. And of course, my worldwide friend, Raquel, who is shared with me every type of experience during the year. So thank you so much for being part of that.
Partner in crime.
Absolutely. So, Abdelhadi, thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you, Pedro, so much for everything.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Christoph.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Stefano.
Thank you. And one small remark about the proposal from Adeladi. I just remind that in 2018, the first opportunity that we got together was at a health conference about the Mediterranean healthcare. So this could be, it was in Bari, you remember?
Yes, I remember
We
perfectly.
were together. So this idea of a Mediterranean meeting or something like that could really be a great thing. So I welcome the invitation and proposal from Abdelhadi, absolutely.
Thank you so much. You always have in your mind. Thank you so much for that.
We can discuss this in the ocean in the next Congress in Canarias that you are all invited. We can discuss the Mediterranean meeting.
This is fully true. So this is the first time that we share our Seeic talk, which is streamed on time in the Global Geek Engineers YouTube. So thank you so much for Pedro, Professor Khalil. Thank you so much to Kali, for everyone that is make it possible. Okay, thank you, Stefano, too. So in a world that is becoming more and more global, events like this show us that the collaboration truly make us stronger. So I hope that the next year, countries like that assist and that attend to this conference, like Argentina, I see someone like that, Canada, Switzerland, some of your partners will be part of the next year webinar. We hope to do it one per year at least. Okay, so thank you for exchange of experience, your knowledge, and even lesson from our mistake is what allow us to move forward together. Today, we live in a reality where it's less than 12 hours you can be on the other side of the world, and in less than a second with just one click. We can all be connected. Clinical engineering are playing an increasingly essential role with its hospital, and this requires not only recognition but also specialization and official training program. In Spain, the initiative like TENIR, of which Seeic is part, are already working in this direction, and similar movements are emerging worldwide. I want to sincerely thank you all of you speakers for your generosity in sharing their knowledge, and all of the participation who have joined us for your attention and engagement. Together, we are building a stronger, more specialization, more recognized profession that will continue to serve healthcare system everywhere. Because as the world reminds us every day, we are all connected, and this is unstoppable. Bye-bye, and thank you for everything.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.